Welcome to Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show. I am super excited to be interviewing my friend, my mentor today. My guest star today is Tonya Hofmann, the CEO and founder of Public Speakers Association. But before I introduce Tonya, let me just tell you a little bit about what this platform is all about. This TV show, we spotlight today's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, unique and most successful individuals. And today I am so honored to be interviewing the CEO and founder of Public Speakers Association, Tonya Hofmann. If you knew Tonya, let me tell you a little bit about Tonya. Tonya and I met about last year. And when you pray for God to bring you somebody across your path. And she has really become a good friend and a mentor in so many ways. And she's an international speaker. She's a connector. If you are looking for someone to know, she is that person to know. And let me tell you about Tonya. Tonya is one of the well-known individuals. She's so humble, and you won't even know that she is that person if you meet her in person. What am I saying? I'm saying that if you are looking for a good friend to connect with, Tonya is that person. Without much further explanation about this awesome, fabulous woman, I want to introduce to you Miss Tonya Hofmann. Tonya.
Hey everybody, it's so great to be here. You know, I adore you, Christy. Because with a name like Iwuchukwu, I mean, who doesn't love that?
All right, thank you so much. I don't even know where to start. I'm normally not lost for words when I introduce people, but you really have helped me in so many ways starting out in business in a way that I wouldn't even thank you enough for it. And I am so thrilled for you to share your nugget of wisdom with our audience today. And so I'm just going to begin with the first question for you. I know this platform is all about own and rock your brilliance. And behind every successful person, there's always a story behind that person. But oftentimes we don't get to hear where it all began. We hear when that person is on top of the mountain. So how did it all begin for you?
Well, you know, it kind of depends on where you're talking about beginning, because, you know, there's so many things that happens in people's lives and in their journey. And a lot of times it's not one significant, oh my gosh, moment that changes everything. It's usually a progression. And for me, you know, I have been robbed and tied up when I was 6 months pregnant.
Wow.
I've gone through cancer, and those are the not so bad times. So I've gone through some really rough, what most people consider horrific times. But that doesn't qualify what I want my existence to be. And I had to finally just get over my introvertness and break out and say I was meant for a bigger role than what I was playing. And I was playing a very tiny role. So I get why people kind of curl up and let life go by, because it's so much easier than tackling those fears and getting through them.
You know, Tonya, we have in our audience, people will be looking for information about how to get out there and connect with people. They have a message to share, yet they don't know how to connect with people and how to get their message out. What would you say to those people?
You know, it's all about reaching out and meeting new people, because if you look at it, most people are amazing and most people are incredibly nice and giving. Yes, there's going to be those occasional people that you run into, you're like, OMG, can you really be that kind of a mean person, or that kind of just grumpiness, you know? And you got to just let those people go and keep going, because you find that was my problem, is I was always afraid of everybody, and oh, I might run into someone else who's going to hurt me, instead of looking at all the amazing people that now I get to go and meet worldwide. It's just so much more fun. So yeah, you have to get through those fears. There's so many platforms, you know, Zoom, there's webinars, teleconferences, virtual events, in-person events, networking groups. I mean, just name it. With meetup.com, there's like a group for every type of person. There's so many opportunities nowadays. It's just unending.
Thank you. So let me piggyback on what you talked about. Being able to put yourself out there, not being so much in your head like I was for years, and have my own limitation, but you know, working through it is all I have to do. And I encourage each and every one of you out there to really get out of your own way and get out of your own head. And I know it's easy said than done, but you find out that if you continue to walk your path, you will definitely get better. So let me ask you, I am a member of Public Speakers Association, and I adore what you do in that association. You are able to put people, connect people to collaborate with other individuals. So tell us a little bit about what you have to offer in Public Speakers Association.
Well, it's really designed because I couldn't find what I was looking for myself and for my clients. And so as I was coaching people, and I'm like, okay, well, you need to get out there and speak. And they're like, well, where do I go? And when I didn't find it, I just created one. So I created the Public Speakers Association in 2013. And it's all designed to help people actually find speaking opportunities. Associations, corporate industry conferences, women's events, online events, whatever I could find, TEDx talks. I just shoot it out to everybody. So you make the decision which ones you want to apply for. But then it goes beyond that, because without real marketing and real push on the internet, you're not going to get booked. And so for me, it was about getting your message out there so you can really change some lives while you're building up your credibility, while you're building up your marketing and exposure, so that once you find the right location, you're like, oh, I'm totally ready for it. So we do a virtual event every month where you get 25 minutes straight presentation that you get to give with a lead generator at the end, which is something like, contact me for more information, or a free strategy session, or for my newsletter, or whatever you're wanting them to do at the end. And so that I push you and all of what you're speaking about to my entire social media round, which is around 50,000, so that people see you over and over and over again, which builds that recognition, but then it makes Google love you, so that when an event you actually want to apply for Googles you, you pop up.
Awesome, awesome. I took advantage of it, being a member of Public Speakers Association. And especially if you're starting out and you don't have a list, I believe that being a part of a Public Speakers Association really helps a lot, because you do have a large list, and not just having your message, but being able to push your message to a lot of people to be able to be seen and heard is really the key to getting to be noticed. So I am so glad that I'm a part of your organization, and will continue to be a part of your organization. I want to follow up on that and talk about, talk about what do you have new coming on Public Speakers Association.
We're going to be doing regional events throughout the world next year in 2018. So we're going to be doing about 8 throughout the US, a couple in Canada, some in Asia, maybe a couple in Europe. We're trying to put those all together right now. So we're real excited about, kind of being closer to people and in smaller groups, really masterminding with the top brilliant speakers. They're all my friends, bringing them in so they give them real value and real information. I'm not a big fan of fluffy cloud talk. I want the real information for people so they can make good decisions and actually move forward in their career.
Thank you. I want to talk about, when I started this business, like I said, I am a recovering introvert. Now, I know some people won't believe it, but I am. I'm a recovering introvert. And so when you're starting out in business with the social media out there, you're looking at yourself, you're looking at where you are starting out, and you're trying to compare yourself with other people. And oftentimes the people you compare yourself with are usually people that are doing a lot better than you are. And I still remember my very first video, and I talk about it. I couldn't sleep at night because of that video, because I was worried about what everybody else will be talking about. Little did I know that nobody was even thinking about me. And it was because of that imperfect video that I freed myself, being afraid to talk and being afraid to get myself out there. What would you tell someone that is starting out today, just so afraid of putting themselves out there? What would be your advice for them?
Well, first of all, no one is perfect the first time they do something. So you got to get over that. I mean, the first time I did a video, I was like, hello, I am Tonya Hofmann. Thank you for being here today. And so, we all have to let it go and, get rid of, you have to become an ex-perfectionist. I know Christy was working on that.
I'm getting over it now. It really is something I continue to work on, because if you don't, you revert back to the way it used to be. That is trying to be perfect. And there's no perfection. I talked about it. Perfection paralysis is one thing that really keeps people stagnated, where you don't accomplish anything. So yeah. I'm definitely, I'm coming off of it for sure.
Well, and you've got to remember, 25% of the people out there just isn't going to like you. And I know most guys don't care what people think. Girls are like, oh no, what's there not to like? What do I need to do? And it has nothing to do with that. You look at the other 25% who love you, who can't wait to be a part of you, who can't wait to do things with you. Those are the people you focus on. The other 50%, eventually they'll decide which camp they want to go in. And that's great, because there's two buttons that have been invented that are like the best buttons ever. One of them is block and the other one's delete. So use them very generously, because that bottom 25% who doesn't like you, guess what? You don't like them either. So get rid of them. Say goodbye and focus on the people you're supposed to be connected to.
There's something I love about your rules. You have 2 rules that guide you to work with people. Can you share with those what those rules are and why?
Absolutely. So I created my first rule in 2007, and that was, you have to be nice. No mean, grumpy, negative people ever allowed. And it really came because I started looking around the people that I had gravitated to me, and they were very negative. They were very grumpy. And sometimes they were a little mean. And I'm like, okay, that has got to stop. So you have got to create your own rules. And the other one is no perfect people, please. And that came because I've got a dyslexic, issues that's a little bit like dyslexia. And so a lot of times things just aren't right, and I would get so upset because people would email me, oh, your grammar is horrible, oh, you misspelled there or whatever. And then one day I realized, well, that person knows which there I meant. So if it's that important to them that I spell things right, they don't need to be a part of my world. So block, delete, move on. And so it just lifted me. So I'm now a big fan of everyone creating their 2 value propositions that you live by, that you believe in to your core. My core is that nobody is perfect and no one should be perfect, and that people should be nice and they should be there to collaborate and help each other. And so those are my 2 rules that I live myself, my business, my family, so that we can enjoy our lives. So make your own 2 rules, whatever those 2 rules are.
Tonya, as we talk about you, one of the things that I appreciate so much about you is, even when the house is on fire, you are under control. Even when everything is going wrong, you are under control. Have you always been that way, or is it something that you have to learn along the way?
Well, I think because I've gone through some really horrific things in my life, that when I see something that happens, it's like okay, it could be worse. You know, when our house flooded, and I mean, we went away for vacation, we walked in, it was literally raining inside of our house and it completely destroyed the house. I was just like, of course, I'm like walking around with like, you know, a little zombie, but at least I had a smile on my face when I was talking to the guys that were coming in and were like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? And they were kind of surprised that, you know, I wasn't just sitting there crying. But what am I going to do? I mean, it's just stuff. As long as, you know, my family is safe and I'm safe and we're all good, things can go on. And that's the way I look at everything is, yeah, it's just a time to tweak and a change and create something new out of something that went wrong. So that's the way I look, even, you know, little things, little tweaks, you know, oh no, the website needs to be updated. Great. Okay. Now it's time to tweak it and change it and whatever.
Thank you. Your platform, I love that platform. Change the world from the front of the room. Change the world from the front of the room. How did that come about?
When we created the Public Speakers Association, my husband and I was like, oh, you know, what's our motto? You know, we always want to come up with a motto. And I said, well, what are we out there to do? What kind of people do I want to gravitate? I knew the 2 rules were going to be there. I said, but what kind of people do we want involved in PSA? And I started looking at going, well, I want them to go out and really make a difference. I want them to change the world in some way. And they're going to do it from the front of the room. And it's like, oh, change the world from the front of the room. Perfect. Done.
That is, I mean, it is so, that name is so unique. I know my platform is Own and Rock Your Brilliance, about women owning their voice, finding their voice, speak out and gain confidence. So I really appreciate your motto, change the world from the front of the room. So I want to piggyback on what you talked about imperfection. People trying to be perfect in everything you do before they get started. Now, my platform, you have a lot of women, but every now and then you still have some men. So what do you see, because you work with both men and women, what do you see seem to be the difference between how they view this imperfection between men and women?
Well, I think it's not as much between men and women. I think it's more about employee versus entrepreneur. So it's a mindset. So entrepreneurs usually want to try something new and experiment and see what, you know, they can do that's fresh and new ideas, where employee mindsets like, show me what to do. I need to do it right so I don't get fired, so I don't make a mistake because someone's going to yell at me. That's kind of that fear mentality of perfection versus let it go, who cares, let's find something that works. So it's a different in mindset more than the difference between men and women.
I think you're absolutely right, because I even experienced that myself when I was starting this TV show. I just was trying to figure out, how am I going to be perfect doing it? And again, I said to myself, the only way to be perfect is to do what? To do it. And as I do it, I get better, not even perfect, because something is bound to happen. You just flow with it, and everybody understands that. So absolutely, I think there's a different mindset between an employee and being a business person, because as an employee, you're right, you're trying to, it's almost like a prescription that you have to, you know how to take it, you know the result of the prescription every single time. So it's easier, but as a business person, oftentimes you have to try it, and if it doesn't work out, just have the mindset to try it again. So absolutely. So as we come to the close, what do you have coming on?
Oh, well, I've got lots going on.
Tell us, we want to know.
There's so many fun things, you know, because one of the things that I love doing is showing people not just how to get their voice out there and get their expertise out there, because realistically, everyone in the world wants our information. They want to learn something new, and they want to learn it from somebody that they gravitate to and they just adore. And that's what each one of you listening it's your opportunity to take that on. And I love creating teams because it's fun to collaborate together and help each other. Because a lot of times people get really stuck. They're like, well, how am I going to get my message out there? You know, Public Speakers Association will definitely do that. But then it's even about taking it into a different arena. And so I'm helping another company called Boundless. So we're going to create Boundless across, you know, the US and across the globe, and create leadership teams to help each other make more money, get more connected, and then also enjoy their fun products with diamond infused skincare and yummy healthy coffee and probiotics and other incredible things to, you know, really change us from the inside so that we can enjoy the life and run around the world and have fun.
And I can attest to the probiotic. I definitely can attest to the benefit of probiotic chocolate. Where else can you get healthy eating chocolate? So definitely. And I might happen to be one of your members, right?
Oh,
and
you, because you're amazing.
Yes. So really, I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough. So tell us how many I know you talked about this, that you have Public Speakers Association in more than one place. How many countries do you have Public Speakers Association?
I've got people in most countries, so probably about 15.
Wow.
And, so we're going to be doing regional events next year in 2018, a lot in Asia and throughout the world, Canada, just kind of sporadic. So as we grow, you know, bringing, you know, each other's brilliances and connecting us, you know, throughout the world. It's so much fun.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to really use the time to thank you so much for being a mentor, for being a friend, and taking the time to spend with me. I appreciate it, and I'll be talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Brilliant friend.
Okay, so I am going to turn off the recording now so people can ask.